We are here for our first Team Velocity interview. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I am NK Inc., also known as Andrew Erickson, and I am the jungler for Velocity eSports.
How did you get into League?
I first started League of Legends when kind of Halo was dying out. That was like my first kind of game I played competitively. And I played that game with like a whole bunch of buddies, and we took it really serious and went to the MLG events and whatnot to kind of compete. And one of my buddies I played Halo with told me to come play League of Legends with him because at that time it was kind of, Halo was just dying out and everyone was starting to stop playing it. So I switched over to League, and I played Dota a lot before I played Halo, so I was pretty good at it, and it just kind of started snowballing from there.
How do you feel about the Season 3 jungle?
In Season 3 the jungle is really it's a lot different than the Season 2 jungle, because in Season 2 it was really more focused on ganking. There was no wards on the map ever, and it was all about like, if you got your lane a kill, that usually gave you a big enough advantage to kind of snowball the game in your favor. And in Season 3 they changed it so that people are starting with ward heavy starts, and buffs are worth a lot more experience, and it's just like very oriented for the early game, and then post early game it's very different. It's not as gank heavy, but it's also as gank heavy. It feels like it's a lot more complicated Season 3 than it was Season 2.
So overall, you think the changes for the better?
I feel like skill wise it made the jungle harder. Like, you need to know more about the game and know more about what you're doing to jungle well, but I don't necessarily like the change myself.
Fair enough. Besides League, I mean, we already talked about a couple of the games you were into, Dota, Halo 3. Are you doing any other games right now besides League? Looking forward to anything coming out?
Not really. I kind of wanted to try Hearthstone, but I haven't gotten a beta key to really try it out or play that game. But it looked kind of relaxing and fun. But right now I'm not playing any other game really competitively. I play a game of Dota here or there, and then sometimes I go play Warcraft 3 custom games just because it's nostalgic and fun to play those in the downtime you have.
Definitely understand that. If anybody has a beta key they want to give NK, leave it in the comments or shoot a private message to the YouTube inbox. Who is one of your favorite champions right now, and why?
On the current live 3.10a, I guess, I'd say it's probably Lee Sin, because he's just able to do everything. You can do almost everything well with him. You can engage, you can disengage, you can skirmish. Everything about him is just he's a jack of all trades hero, and if you know him really well and play him really well, you can do almost everything with that one character.
What one thing surprised you the most when you played in your first professional tournament?
I'd say the first thing that kind of surprised me about my first LAN event, my first professional tournament, was the feel of the game and of the tournament itself, because playing there live in front of a crowd is really different to playing in your living room, or even playing at the LCS studio, where it's you and the team, and that feeling of playing in front of a crowd is really cool, but it's really kind of intimidating too. So it kind of encourages you to do better, and you get more down on your mistakes when you make it in front of a live crowd. So I really liked that feeling, but it was also kind of nerve-wracking at the same time.
I can't imagine the kind of pressure you guys are under when you're in front of a huge crowd and trying to bang out a game. I can't imagine it. How did you get into the role you were playing professionally now? What made you the jungler?
So I always kind of, when I first started playing League of Legends, no one really jungled at all. That wasn't a thing in League of Legends when I first started playing. So no one really did it, and as soon as people started doing it, I kind of thought it was a cool idea that you got to just run around the map and gank people. And I thought whoa, that's pretty cool, you know?
Right.
You can control the game really well from that role by being able to just go all around the map and affect everyone. So that was probably the biggest thing that got me moved towards jungling. And then the other big thing was at the time in Season 2, a lot of people were just really bad at jungling. There was no one very good at it. So I kind of wanted to just do it to actually be a good person at it.
Right. Rose to the challenge.
Right.
Besides yourself, and your teammates, obviously. Who is your favorite professional league player right now?
I'd probably say Psycho Sid. I don't know him that well, but all of my interactions with him have been like positive, and he's just like he's a really nice guy just to kind of like know and get along with. So I'd have to say it's probably him.
Okay. So definitely a fan there. Tell us something about yourself that isn't commonly known, some sort of story or embarrassing moment that you don't mind the rest of the world seeing on the internet.
So when I used to do like high school bowling a lot,
okay, and
I actually have a 300 in bowling.
Ooh.
So I was pretty into it at one point in time.
Okay.
But I remember this one day we went, there was like a meet. So there were like 8 or 10 different schools that came to this bowling alley to like do our seasonal matchup or playoff or whatever. And it was really rainy that day. And a lot of people probably don't know this, but when it's really humid or really dry, it like affects the bowling alley's like feel a lot.
I didn't know that.
So when it's really, really humid, what happens is you stick on the floor instead of sliding.
Okay.
So when you go up on the approach to like throw your shot,
okay,
you just stick really hard. And one of the guys there who ran the place was like a veteran of like bowling.
Okay.
He'd been around for a really long time. And what he did to kind of counteract it was he used this like floor cleaning stuff that basically like made it super, super slippery. So for all of practice, it was literally like trying to like bowl on oil almost.
Okay.
So like you'd go up and your foot would slide like 2 feet, and you had to do everything in your power to like not do the splits, to not fall over, to not like fall into the lane and like go halfway down it on the oil.
Okay.
And like it was the most hilarious like warm up ever, because everybody was just like complaining and falling over and just like eating crap everywhere. And like everybody was like, why would he do that? Why would he make it so slippery? Like it's not gonna get better. And then probably like 2 or 3 frames into our sets, it was like perfectly normal again.
Okay.
And it was like really, really weird, but it was really funny and really cool just to kind of see all of that happen in a short period of time.
How often did you eat it?
How was that?
How often did you eat it? Did you fall? You didn't slip or do the splits or anything?
I think we had like 7 people on our. There was a JV team and a varsity team, and that's like 12 people. I think 7 out of the 12 fell over during practice. I know I fell once.
Ouch. All right, final question. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You guys are the underdogs right now. What do you feel you need to do to make qualifiers for next season?
I think the biggest thing we need to do to make qualifiers for next season is we just need to tighten up our overall game. I mean, like, if you look at a lot of our matches against a lot of the teams during the LCS, what tends to happen is either we get stomped, which I think could happen to anyone if those situations happen to them.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
Right. Or what happens is we get out to an early lead and then we mess it up somehow. So it's either like the second dragon fight, we just botch it really badly, or like we overextend a little bit and the other team capitalizes on that. And I think pretty much the biggest thing we can do is tighten up our game so that we don't botch those dragon fights and that we use all of our stuff correctly. And pretty much I think if we just tighten up our gameplay, we'll be good to go.
Okay. All right. So getting things tight, taking advantage of the lead instead of squandering it. Unfortunately, maybe getting a little too excited, but that's a lot of pressure when you're up there in front of a crowd and all that kind of stuff. I really can't imagine it. Well, that's it for this interview. First interview here with NK, jungler for Team Velocity. If you have any, we'll obviously be doing a follow-up interview, and you'll see him in some more videos here on the YouTube channel. If you have any more questions you'd like to see answered in maybe the next interview with NK, be sure to leave a comment here, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.